I want to start off this episode by giving you a gift. As you can see right over here, we're not sponsored or anything, but we got to have some kind of drinks here. It's not White Claw. I usually have White Claw on the show.
No,
I know, but we got the I think this is like a Quick Stop branded hard seltzer.
Henry's.
Good,
man.
Would you rather have lemon lime or blueberry?
I'll get blueberry. Are we gonna shotgun it right now?
Just up in here?
I mean, no, that's too.
I don't know about that.
That's too wild.
Yeah, a little bit.
I would have to take off the shirt. Mm-hmm. This full send or just chill?
I'm just gonna chill, man.
All right, man.
I'm gonna go to the gym after this.
Oh, cheers, man.
Cheers. Wow, that is like not enjoyable at all. I didn't really like this.
It's like a melted Jolly Rancher in water.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
As a freelance videographer, I run into many obstacles both creatively and financially. So I met with inspiring and motivating individuals who are breaking these boundaries, turning their passions into a source of income. My goal is to gain a new perspective through the experience and challenges they face each and every day. My name is AJ Vallejo, and this is the Creative Crucible podcast.
All I know is that you DJ and you're into fashion. And what do you prefer to be labeled as or categorized as?
I think I really had to pocket what I needed to do this year. So I couldn't just be that guy who eats in and out. Like, based on social media and branding, all this time, 26 years of my life, everyone's like, you're just the in and out guy. And I really had to change that and be like, okay, first and foremost, I work in the fashion industry and I'm really almost like, I feel like I'm qualified to give tips on men's fashion. I'm not necessarily an expert. I'm still learning, but I could help, a man.
Where do you work now, though?
I work at a major fashion company. I don't want to give out the brand.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
I work for a major fashion company. That's a nationwide fashion company. I don't want to give the retailer. My background is in high fashion. So I worked at many high fashion houses. Well, actually just one fashion house. I don't want to bring that up, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so I understand you're trying to keep your branding away from this whole in and out thing. To any listener or viewer that has no idea about this whole in and out branding thing, can you explain a little bit about that? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, so Instagram is very impressionable, right? So the first thing you see on someone's Instagram page is basically like their highlight reel or something that you would think that they're about. So for example, if I look at your page, I see that you're a content creator, post dope videos and dope content and dope photos and, all this cool stuff. And also the Creative Crucible podcast, don't shout out Henry. So they ain't cool. No, but bringing it back, everyone is impressionable on Instagram nowadays, especially since it's 2019. And it's really your brand. So what started with the In-N-Out was in high school, we used to go to In-N-Out Burger all the time. Being in California, it's just like somewhere you go after a high school dance, after a football game. And my first smartphone ever was the iPhone 3G. And we pulled up to the In-N-Out. We took a picture and we went there like damn near 6-7 days in a row. We would just get the same thing. I ordered the same thing there.
What do you order?
Number one, animal style, no pickles. Make the fries animal style as well. And then for the drink, I got a Dr. Pepper with a lemon slice in it. And then I don't touch the whole meal I don't touch the whole I don't even touch the fries or the drink until I eat the whole burger, the double animal style, no pickles. You gotta say
oh dang, you're very stern about that.
Hey, man.
Like, oh,
I'm gonna throw it back.
Yeah, but the number one is that the double?
It's a double.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even eat it actually. So this whole Instagram thing is just a fly. I just throw it out. No, I'm just kidding. But so basically there's a ritual behind that. We could do that another time. But I started taking pictures of it a lot in high school, and it was just like an inside joke between a lot of homies from high school. It's like hashtag AJ's In and Out Journey, the same caption, my favorite, hashtag AJ's In and Out Journey. And then I posted that from 2011 to just recently 2019. So 8 years of, in and out photos, years and years of hundreds of thousands of calories and levels of cholesterol and blood pressure, came to this.
It seems like at an early age, you already had an idea of what branding was. Maybe it wasn't like your intention, but you were kind of already committing to like branding habits and just kind of like getting people to know, like what you said, the highlight, like the front page of what you're into. Now that you mentioned that, I know you said that you started this whole I don't know what to say, fan or obsession with In and Out, but I do want to remind you something. You actually started doing these whole branding habits before high school, and I want to remind you. I want you to talk about this a little bit. It was in middle school. You and a group of friends, you had a thing for putting Mentos in Diet Coke, and I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of people at our middle school, they knew you guys are like MC crew.
Oh, were you in that too? You were in that too.
So I was not in it, but I hung out with the MC crew. So what's
I think
MC?
your MySpace had the what's that called? That like the dash MC or something in there.
Oh, I think you're right. So can you
Like the brackets or whatever. Yeah. So the MC crew. I don't think it's pretty funny you bring that up. I don't think that was like related to like Mentos or Coke brand deals at all. I think we just like saw it on YouTube. It was like an urban myth. We had slow ass internet at the time. We just wanted to pull up and try it out. We had YouTube videos before YouTube was even popping, dude. If we like vlogged all that, it would probably blow up today. But it was dope.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, sure, the whole crew or the whole group got together because you guys like putting Mentos in Diet Coke bottles.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't I don't think it necessarily meant that that's what you guys do every day, but that's kind of like just the origins.
Imagine just like a YouTube channel on the reg, just like the same thing, Mentos and Diet Coke. But bringing it back, that's why really this year, if you're asking like what's my priorities and everything, in 2019, it's really about DJing. And, I created my website recently. And it's been dope because people are really associating me more with DJing and fashion. First and foremost, they associate me with DJing parties now and DJing weddings and cotillions and all that. And then more, I would say, In and Out and then fashion. So my goal for 2020 is to start a YouTube channel and make it more fashion oriented. But that's how it really started, just like posting as a joke on social media. But like you said, I've always been brand aware. We've always been socially brand aware. And it's been dope, man.
What would you say is not necessarily a priority, but kind of like right now what you're putting on the high pedestal? So like the DJ / music or the fashion?
That's a difficult conversation for me to really have for myself because I'm in a blessed place where, one, I already work. My 9 to 5 is in fashion. So I already work in a industry that I'm passionate about, went to fashion school. I literally like want to do fashion and that's my day job. Damn man, I'm getting all emotional, man. Come on.
No, hell yeah, dude.
No,
I mean,
but
it's all good.
Yeah, so I work in my passion already. So my day job, I work in the fashion industry. So I really want to focus on DJing, but that takes a lot of time too. And then what I mean by working in fashion though is like I want to create content for other men, basically millennials. Damn, man, I'm getting nervous, man. I can't talk about this shit.
No, yeah, it's all good. Okay, so how about this? Because I mean, I know you've been into the whole fashion thing for a while now, even since like middle school. I know it kind of started out with like the whole streetwear type of deal. So let's focus on the whole millennial aspect. Like, why is that important?
I think it's important because a lot of the times now, like the fashion industry is so saturated. So you could have, someone dressed in all designer luxury gear and someone dressed in all Forever 21 or something like that. And you could really see like, oh, wow. Like, I mean, if you have a trained eye, you could really tell the difference in like quality and things like that. But nowadays, the generation now is younger and it's all about aesthetic. It doesn't really matter if something's new or something's old, something's vintage or like fake or real. It's like, does it look cool? All right, that's dope. Doesn't really matter the cost.
Oh, okay. So how are you going to push that through the YouTube channel you're trying to create? Because from the way I understand it, fashion seems kind of subjective, don't you think? Where it's kind of like, so are you kind of like teaching the rights and the wrongs, or just like, or are you teaching the foundations on like creating outfits, for example?
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to create a platform for myself and other, men out there that I didn't have when I was, say, in middle school or high school or even college. So I want to create a channel that really promotes like how to create men's style for men. Like, I don't want to necessarily give you, this is how you're supposed to do it, because it's so subjective of a like matter, Like, this is not how you don't have to dress like me, or like you don't have to dress like how I say in these videos. I just want to create value added content that helps men like create the style of their own. But also there's like, it's difficult because there's like menswear rules, you know, for suiting and things like that. But I really just want to create value added content. For example, if you're going to your high school dance for the first time, or going to a wedding for the first time, or basics on how to tie a tie, you know, going to your first job interview, like every step of your life, there should be some guidelines, but also I want to take them on my journey too, because I'm still learning. I'm not necessarily an expert, but I feel like based on my experience and what I do, I could give, you know, some of my tips and hopefully help men find their own style. And that's what I really want to emphasize. Like, I'll take them on a ride with me. For example, if I do a product review, I'll show them outfit pictures, outfit videos of how it looks on my feet and how I would wear it, and an honest review. So not only giving them tips and how-tos, but also bringing them through a review of how I wear it and how I would, you know, produce an outfit, and just, you know, general outfit style guides for how to build your own style.
It seems like you have a lot of clarity in terms of your goals when it comes to fashion. Now, the thing is, having a passion, I don't want to say because it rhymes, having a passion for fashion.
I thought about that all the time as we were talking about it. That's why I got hella nervous.
No, because I don't want to sound corny with the rhyming,
Yeah.
but so having that passion, like especially back in high school, I'm gonna already assume that there's like a lot of that you probably had a lot of like maybe like negative opinions, and because, you know, let's be honest, teenagers, bro, they're freaking jerks, man.
Yeah.
Teenagers are such jerks, and like especially with all the noise in high school, they're saying like, oh, what are you gonna do after high school? Yeah, I'm gonna go to college.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
I'm gonna be like a lawyer. I'm gonna be an engineer, and I'm not bashing any of those industries. I mean, they're
Yep.
freaking great industries that contributes to society and all that. But I want to talk about going into the art route of your career, especially in high school. So like, have you ran into any kind of like negativity like back in high school regarding that? And if you did, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, definitely. So first question is, did I run into any negativity going the art route rather than like, you know, the traditional educational route? So I didn't take the SATs. I didn't take the ACTs. I literally applied to one school and one school only, and that's fashion school. And it's funny talking to all of your cohort group in high school and all your friends and your family and things like that. I had someone tell me like, oh, where are you going? And everyone was saying like San Jose State or state schools, and like, you know, UCs or UC Berkeley, UC Irvine or UCLA and things like that. And they asked me, and then someone was like, oh, where are you going, AJ? You know, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to fashion school. And he's like, fashion? What are you going to do in fashion? You can never get a job with that. You're never going to make any money. And I'm just blessed to say I've worked in fashion for the last decade. So
Damn, son.
pays my bills, baby.
Where'd you find this?
Hey, man, come on.
Yeah, but like I mentioned earlier, dude, that clarity and your vision is super important, and it's such a blessing of having that at such an early age, because even my junior and senior year of high school, I thought I was going to go into business and study business in college, which I did, and I got my degree. But once I completed that, I realized like later, I was like, no, this is not for me. I'm just going to like pivot my entire career in a different direction. So like hats off to you for like knowing that like at an early stage, you know?
No, hey, thanks, man.
Dude, like that's super dope, you know? And and that's the thing, especially back in high school or when you're a teenager, it's just the comparison game, like in your mind is it takes such a heavy toll on everyone, you know?
Especially at that age, because you're so impressionable and you just care about like, oh, why did my friend get his new car, like a new car, or this car because his parents helped him or stuff like that, or not even like that. It's just like you're comparing yourself to stuff that doesn't matter. Like, why does this girl talk to him instead of me?
Yeah.
You know?
No, for real. But see, that's really cool. I think with this day and age of like the internet and technology, it's possible to do like anything. You could do anything as long as you're like better than 60% of the world at what you're passionate about. Somebody's willing to pay for it.
You really could create your own lane through your passions nowadays too.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But I know when it came to like music and DJing, I only understand as early as like junior year, where I saw you doing that stuff. Have you always like loved music like prior to that?
Yeah, I've always loved music, man.
That's kind of a dumb question. I'm gonna rephrase that question. I always love music because I've loved music. Shoot, when I was in the womb.
Dang,
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. They put the Bee Gees up to my mother's stomach.
You're going ham in there. Or what?
Yeah, man. But
Dang, going all Stuart Little.
Stuart Little. No, but I remember at every chance you got your DJing, because I remember you had your board or your little DJ
I
table.
had like a DJ, my starter set.
Exactly, but you weren't carrying it in an official casing. You had it in like an H&M bag. It was like in a plastic
I was going
bag.
raw dog on it.
Yep, exactly.
No bag.
Exactly.
Now I got protection though. I got flight cases for all that, so I'm juiced.
Oh, okay. What kind of musicians or people in the music industry kind of like inspire you?
That's a difficult question because, I just look up to like local Bay Area DJs that tour all over the world now, like Miles Medina, MJ Espinosa. Those are like legends in like the Bay Area game. They've been on the radio for super long, been touring around the world. Mixture of party rocking and like turntablism. Because when you're at the club, like no one wants to hear someone scratch for like, their whole set. But at the same time, I want to hear someone, blend some like party jams. Like if you want to go out, you want to party, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to like find someone mixing turntablism and party rocking. So that's just a dope, thing for me to see that DJs, especially from the Bay Area where we're born and bred, are creating like such lanes for themselves where they could travel across the nation, the world, just through DJing and producing music and doing their thing. And I look up to even like, small town, local heroes for myself. Like I look up to all my DJ mentors, all my homies and things like that. So anyone that I DJ with,
Yeah, I think that's really important too. Where the people that you look up to, it's kind of like you got to surround yourself with this kind of people. And that's a really important element of growing your craft, because if the people like that you're surrounding yourself, if they're looking up to you, then you need to start looking up to other people and having them in your crew or in your circle, because that kind of develops a competitive edge as well. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. It's just inherently competitive in DJing, and also you get farther the more people you know in regards to the nightclub scene. And it's a little different for me. Like I've always been kind of like stubborn as far as DJing. Like I always wanted to do it my way, and like I wouldn't take some gigs or like network as much because I'm naturally introverted. But this year, doing more nightclub gigs and like mobile gigs, I really forced myself out of my shell to be more extroverted and really network and just vibe with people and like, connect and like, hey man, I understand the vision. Not like super unauthentic, but whatever I feel feels right and the vibe is there and it's mutually reciprocated, then I'll pursue that networking opportunity. And like you said, like I've done many free DJ gigs in garages, house parties, or even paid gigs. But any gig you get, especially as a starting DJ, with that board where I was holding it in the H&M bag,
Yep.
Man, like I've DJ'd house parties, and like years later they're like, oh, can we get a DJ for a cotillion, or oh, can we get a DJ for a wedding? So even those free opportunities, you can never look at it and like you gotta just create at all cost, disregard the numbers.
Dude, okay, for anybody just listening in on Spotify or Apple Podcast, AJ is looking at my whiteboard. I got whiteboards all over my room over here. And one of my quote of the week is create at all cost, disregard the numbers. And he totally just ripped my quote.
I just wanted to end it because
come on, man.
Hey, man.
So I'm going to be honest for a second. When it comes to DJing, I think it's getting a little bit more saturated, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Saturation of any market just kind of proves that technology's improving, and that's making a lot of like this equipment cheaper and available to everyone. But when it comes to the short term and long term, what trait really separates the people who are there for like maybe 6 months to a year, and then versus the people that are turning DJing into a career?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I feel like you could really tell when someone is, especially in a creative space, you would probably relate to this even more too. Like, you could tell if someone, buys all the most expensive gear from the jump and DJ for a while, or, do their craft for a while, for like a week, and they're like, oh, I'm not moving anywhere. I don't know if I should do this anymore, But at the same time, it's like great for, young kids who really want to be accessible, will have all the newest DJ gear or newest equipment that's affordable. Because back then when I started DJing, like, there wasn't really that much DJ gear. It was something that I bought from the Apple store, and that kind of sparked it for me. I always had family who DJ'd too. And it's great that the market's saturated now, because it really shows that like people who really are true creatives and like follow their path and are passionate about it really stick out like a sore thumb compared to the other people who are in it for the short term, And I actually had to switch my mentality from that too. I was doing like really cheap DJ gigs, like house parties and things like that. And for me now, like, I got rid of some, DJ gigs that I had on the regular every month, and really focused on what gigs bring me the most value as far as like my passions as in DJing and for my time, because I would be DJing, going to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and then DJing Friday and Saturday until 2 a.m. So my only day off really is like Sunday. And I really wanted to switch that to have more of a balance. You need a balance in everything you do in life, I feel. And I'm just blessed that there's more and more DJs that I could collaborate with, and more equipment that I could use that helps me, because I'm not an expert DJ. I just created a whole lane for myself, and I pride myself on, trying to be a great communicator through my music and through if I'm a businessman, through my transactions with clients and everything. So to answer your question, you could really tell if someone's putting in the work, especially in DJing. You could tell if their transitions are on point, if their mixes are on point, if their branding is on point, and everything like that. But it's kind of a weird networking opportunity for DJing, because it's like if someone doesn't like you, they're not going to DJ with you, And it's like you have to know people to spin at certain bars or certain nightclubs. Or if you want to, get a wedding gig or a cotillion gig, you have to know like the host or the person booking you, like whoever's the booking agent, or you might need an agent if you're going on radio or things like that. So,
yeah, I feel like there's so much noise when it comes to any kind of creative craft, simply because,
especially DJ, man, it's too loud, bro. It's hella noise.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
but in terms of and I think what really ties into separating the short term and then the long term people is a lot of people are expecting that very fast and quick, like positive reinforcement, because that's what I meant when I said noise, not like volume and like. Yeah. So what I meant, so what I meant about all the noise is, I say this a lot, where social media and like the whole online space really is like a celebration, and if you're not getting that celebratory like or comment, then it's really discouraging for a lot of new people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of obvious, and I think everybody really knows that. But let's say I want to start DJing, and like, I don't know you, I don't have any friends that DJ, I don't have any family that DJ, so it's just like kind of like a blank canvas. What do you think is the next step for me? I mean, I'm already constantly working on my craft every day, but outside of working on my craft and trying to get better, what other external entities should I do?
Are you talking as far as like DJing goes?
I'm saying
or just creatively.
I'm saying as far as networking in the field and in the industry. Like,
yeah.
who should I what do you think would be more effective though? Should I just walk into should I just straight up walk into 55 South and just be like, what up, I want to DJ? Or should I try to get more involved into the DJ community, like through social media?
I think it has to be a mixture of both. Like, it's always priority to show face if someone's inviting you to a gig. And I actually, have to do more of that too. I got to show up to more gigs and show support to some DJ homies and things like that. But at the same time, if there was like a blank slate, you really gotta create content for whatever lane or whatever mix you want to do, and create like a fan base. Because essentially, as DJs, we're playing other people's music, you know. So my mentality is whenever I go out to a nightclub and it's like the most cracking nightclub ever, no one is ever there to see me other than my family and friends, you know. Like, say you're a random club goer, say we go out tonight. Our first thoughts are never like, "Hey MJ, bro, like I'm so excited to see this random DJ I don't really know."
I mean, I've been to some of your sets and I like them.
Thanks, bro. Hey, no, but you know what I mean. Like any creative craft, you really gotta build that network and build content that's great and that people want to follow your movement, because it's so saturated now that people are undercutting, not only nightclub DJs, but also like cotillion DJs and wedding DJs and private event DJs. And I don't mind that, because it just lets me be more competitive when I want to charge a client. But at the same time, it's like, I know stories of people that have been DJing for like a week, know someone at the most popular nightclub and get sets there regularly. But granted, there's other stories where like people have DJ'd in their bedrooms for years and years and years. Like I DJ'd in my bedroom for probably like 3 to 5 years before I actually played properly outside, like a actual like nightclub or things like that. And I feel like I did it the opposite way of what it is now. Like it's like short-term practice. The expectation is very high results, but you're not really going to get that. It's kind of short-term thinking. But for me, I really always was in it for the long term. I love DJing so much. Like, I don't even get paid for some of the gigs that I do for my family and close friends, And that's always been my thing. But obviously, I treat it as a business now, because I'm really in it for the long term. And I've been practicing for so long and always wanted to do it my way. But I really, really urge, if you're an aspiring DJ or just creative in general, be open, be a little more extroverted than you're used to, and just communicate your ideas through whatever creative medium you have. Because if you don't do that and you just post in and out all day, people are going to pigeonhole you as an in and out guy. Mm-hmm. No matter how good of a DJ you are, no matter how stylish of a person you are, people always thought that I just ate like in and out all the time. And I don't mind that, because I feel pretty secure in myself. And that's like a whole totally different topic that we could talk about, But I guess 3 tips is like practice, make good content, and network.
You brought up a really good point earlier. The importance of just working on your craft and networking and creating content for social media, for example, and how all equally important they are. Because a lot of people don't know, if you're a freelancer or a business owner, you're not just a DJ. Mm-hmm. You're also the accountant. You're also the marketing manager.
Yep.
You're freaking everything. So a lot of people would argue it's like, okay, cool, he's good at spinning and stuff like that, but there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes into it, right?
They don't see the businessman side of it, or businesswoman, or business they. I don't know what pronoun you guys use, but I, as a businessman, they don't see the behind the scenes of like negotiating with clients, negotiating with, even at a nightclub, like negotiating with the bar manager on like who has bottle service, Brian's birthday, Brian graduated, Brian has a bottle, shout out Brian 3 times. Yeah, so there's a lot of fun things in that. But like you said, like no one sees the negotiations for weddings, your rates, and like the emails back and forth, and like the preparation it really takes to, succeed at whatever you do. Because granted, we're not like multimillionaires through what we do, but we're passionate about it and we make a living off it,
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about this YouTube channel that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
I know
man.
It's fashion, and I know you're trying to spread value on what you know after your decade of experience in the fashion industry. Now, what really originated this idea? Because like you said, you've been doing this for like a decade, a little bit over a decade now, and now you want to do YouTube. So why YouTube?
Yeah, so I've actually always been interested in YouTube. Like I've been making YouTube videos, whether it be on private or public. You've seen it. A lot of my lip sync videos have like gone viral like in 2006, but we don't want to bring that up. You know it.
A lip sync
the
video,
Mariah
huh?
Carey one. Yeah. All I Want for Christmas.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
so this YouTube channel, it's not going to be your first time in the YouTube space.
No, not necessarily. But what really inspired me was I already have a lot of education and knowledge in fashion, but I'm always still learning. And I really wanted to create a channel for myself, essentially, when I was, in middle school or high school or college, really trying to find myself and my personal style. Because it's changed. You asked me what I wore, 5 years ago, it's probably changed 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, it's changed a lot. And I really want to help millennials in whether it be metropolitan cities that are super large or even small towns, build their own personal style and cultivate their own way of dressing and way they feel. Because I feel like the way you dress is really how you feel externally, and it's a form of art if you really want to go the meta, like, whoa, what is life about? What is fashion about? But I really just want to help millennial men create style for themselves.
Where does your fashion sense come from other than fashion school? So like, I've known you since second grade.
No, dude, like kindergarten, bro.
Oh, wow. Well, that's an awkward thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've known you since kindergarten. And we both grew up in San Jose, California.
Yes, sir.
And there is a specific street style out here. A lot, we have Santa Cruz out here locally. So like a lot of skate brands and even the cultures out here. So, so does a lot of your style and your opinion on things derive from San Jose, or like, I understand you lived in other cities before.
I've lived in other cities. I've lived in New York for 5 years. I lived in LA for like a year. I lived in SF for 2 years. But I mean, that's Bay Area, right?
Yeah,
So-
but even though San Francisco is like 40 minutes away from we are right now, it's like
It's different.
It's
Totally
different.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe because of the climate, or is there just like a different like culture up there?
I think because it's just so cold out there, and it's more European feeling. The fashion is more European feeling because it's a melting pot. Like there's so many people that come from all over the world to San Francisco. I don't think a lot of people, well, back in the day, came to San Jose other than like for Silicon Valley or like the tech boom and everything. But that's anywhere now. So to answer that question, I think a lot of my personal style came from just like hanging out with my friends, my family, my uncles, my mom. Funny story, my mom would always, to this day, like when I go home, I live with my parents still. I gotta put the same table setting and the same fork, the same spoon, same utensils, same plate set every single time. There's different guests. If it's like a higher formal occasion, I gotta put a specific plating, specific forks and everything. So my mom really taught me like color theory and kind of like how to be practical with your style. Granted, this is like tableware,
Yeah.
like plates and stuff. But I really applied that color theory and stringent, matchiness with style and clothing. But it's cool too because there's so much clothing and accessories that you could wear that you could really make it your own. So a lot of the times when I dress now, or when I used to, find when I was growing my personal style, I really was like, damn, like I could wear whatever I want. So if I feel like I want to kill this final, I would wear all black because it's a funeral for this paper. And if I want to dress up, there'll be days where I'll be wearing, the most streetwear outfit ever. And there'll be days where I dressed up in like a 3-piece suit. So it really depends on, it really shows your confidence as an individual. I feel like externally, even in rare cases, like you could say, oh, I don't really care like that. But to answer that question, it's like, you would never see anyone go to work at like Goldman Sachs or like a financial institution with like shorts on or sweatpants because they care about what they do and they don't want to get fired. And if you want to get fired, then you know what, you just do that. So, but just to dumb it down, like it's really an expression of what you want to do. Like you're going to Walmart, you're like, oh, okay, I don't care. I'm going to wear these sweats. I'm going to wear these like Crocs or whatever, right? Because you don't care who sees you there. It's more for utility.
Yeah, sweatpants, hair tied,
But
chilling with no
chilling
makeup
with
on.
I hella spit. And but on the contrast of that, if you're going to a nightclub, you're gonna try to put your best foot forward, especially if your intent for some people, especially our age, like millennials, is like you want to get at some ladies or something
In the line for the bathroom. Well, okay, so you mentioned streetwear and street style. I know from what I understand, you kind of started off with that street style back in high school, or maybe even a little bit before that. There was a big trend on Nike SB. SB dunks, right?
Yeah.
But like back in that time, was there any streetwear brand that like you kind of looked up to and you're like, dude, this brand is dope. If I could trade shoes with the founder of that brand?
I think it was Bape, because Bape is the brand that really put me on.
Was that Nego?
Nego. Shout out Nego. Yeah, that's when Lil Wayne, Pharrell, and all the rappers like the Dipset. Like Dipset was rocking all the Bape stuff, and I got really inspired by streetwear, and then that led to like Huff and Supreme and all those like super duper upper echelon streetwear brands, where it's like super expensive now. I remember I was at Huff. They had 3 stores in San Francisco. They had a skateboard shop only, a sneaker shop only, and like a clothing store only. And Huff was one of the only stores I think in the nation that had Supreme. This was in like 2005. And I went with my parents. I asked them to drive me because there was like no BART from like San Jose at the time to the city. And we pulled up, and I wanted to get like a Supreme hoodie, but my mom's like, oh no, it's too expensive. So I got like a hat, a Huff hat instead. And it's still dope. I got it to this day.
Was that the Huff,
To this
the
day.
Huffquake?
No, that was a more 2009.
Or are you
This
talking
was
about
in
the
05.
Skyline
The
hat?
Skyline hat.
The Skyline
yeah.
hat, that one was really
That's
cool.
the OG logo.
Dude.
When you got the green bag.
Yep.
You
Yep,
know.
with the green bag. Actually, I got a story for you about Huff too. I would say back in 2008, 2007, I asked my parents to drive me to the Huff store out in San Francisco on the Post Street location. Did you go to the Post location?
Yep. I never really went to the one in Hayes Valley. That's actually the Undefeated store now.
Oh, okay. So the thing is, my parents drove me all the way to San Francisco, and because I was starting to like this whole streetwear thing and all that.
That way.
Yep. And then obviously I didn't have money and stuff. And I was asking my parents like, oh yeah, I just want a t-shirt. Can I get a t-shirt? And my dad and my mom, they didn't really understand. It's like $35 for a t-shirt, and the crazy part is Keith Huffnagel. Huffnagel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Huffnagel was actually there. He was playing skate outside, out front with like some kids. And then after he saw me and my family walk in, he was actually helping us out like with the whole customer service thing. This is before Huff blew up with those marijuana socks, right? So they're, from what I understand, they were like a little bit of a smaller brand at the time, and they had only like maybe 4 items on Karmaloop.
Yep.
Yep. And then so Keith was like super cool. He was like talking to my mom and dad,
Chopping it up.
Yeah, I was chopping it up, and I was just like looking at the graphic tees and all that.
And he's like, hey, don't unfold them. So just to preface that, if you ever go into like a Supreme or like a kind of a not high fashion store, but like a high fashion streetwear store, they happen to have, there's a tendency for the sales associates to be very, very like forward or like rude. And in Huff, their t-shirt displays, usually like the associates would get mad at you if you unfolded the shirt. So that's why I brought that up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Keith was just hella cool with my family. I got my t-shirt. I got it in the whole green bag and everything. And ever since that day, I want to say I was like maybe 14 or 15 at the time. I was like, dude, streetwear is dope, man. Because meeting the founder of Huff and like knowing that it's a bigger brand today, it's just like it gave me and my parents a perspective on this whole streetwear industry. I thought it was really cool.
Definitely, man. It's almost like, when you're listening to an artist for the first time on Spotify or whatever, and you're like, damn, no one knows this person. They should blow up. And then they blow up all of a sudden. You're like, damn, I started listening to them, when they were like, had 200 plays on SoundCloud or, Spotify. But now they're playing Coachella. Like, I was a part of that growth.
Oh, yep. I know it sounds kind of hipster to say, though, but I know exactly what you mean. Because I know for a fact that you knew Tyler, the Creator, before everyone.
Yes, sir.
Is that what it was?
Nah, he like added hella people on MySpace, and he like responded to one of my bulletins, and it was cool. It was kind of like whatever though. It's not like it was just random. I think he like just messaged hella people like, "What's good?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like Igor?
It was all right.
Oh, come on! I
Yeah,
like that,
it's
man.
cool.
Got that?
Nah, but
that
like you
ear
said,
break.
man, it's like hitting it first like Ray J, but with clothing brands or music, like you don't hit it first, but you listen to it first or you wear it first.
Dude, I met Ray J in Vegas.
I saw that. What did you say to him?
Huh?
143 or what?
No, dude, like, so I don't get the whole starstruck type of feeling or anything when I see people.
I don't get starstruck.
But I'll be honest, I try to act like kind of cool. I try to be chill about it. You know what I mean? So like when I saw Ray J out in Vegas, I was like, "Hey, yo, Ray." And then he turned and he was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And then I said, "What's up, Ray? How you doing? I just want to say, what's up?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" I was like, and then I told him, "Yeah, is it cool if I take a picture?" He was like, "Oh yeah, man, yeah, of course we could take a picture." And then like I was just gonna stand there and like have my thumb up, but like homeboy put his hand on my shoulder. I was like, "Oh,
he's trying to hit it first."
Oh no!
Damn.
I know if I had one wish.
Damn.
No, I wouldn't.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, no. But Ray J is a cool guy in person. It's funny though when
I was thinking of one wish in my song and thinking of him like going like higher in pitch as he was putting his hand around you. I'll be okay if I get one.
As a matter of fact, you were the one who said.
He was like gliding into it. Or
8
what?
years ago.
Maybe we gotta cut that though. That's too wild.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this. Speaking of the song "One Wish," you made a choreo to that freshman year of high school.
Damn.
Do you remember that?
I think I do remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You made a choreo.
I wasn't even good at dancing. I'm still not good at dancing.
I thought you were good at dancing.
I have sciatica, dude. I can't get loose.
I have no idea what that is. But
It's like a pinched nerve that controls like one side of your leg.
oh
Yeah.
I thought you were a good dancer.
Thanks, man. Likewise, man.
No, that's not true.
So
You're
just want to
being
give some
polite.
background, man. Like Michael June or MJ and I, keep it on brand. MJ and I were actually in like a high school dance crew, and for some reason, no one objected to us like leading the dance crew. So we would just make like the dumbest choreos in front of thousands of students and perform it, and everyone was just like, "All right, cool."
It's like, well, no one else wants to do it, so we're gonna dance in it, you know. Hey, but you know, it was something to do. You know, I think you gotta
Find your passion, man. Find it.
Yeah, but you gotta be loose, and I'll be honest. You know, being in that hip hop dance club or whatever that we were in, I was super uncomfortable. I was like, I'm not a good dancer. This choreo is freaking hard. I mean, we're just doing this, but I have,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time staying on beat, but I'm just gonna freaking do it. But I mean, we had a generally small high school that we went to, but man, did that hip hop dance club give us hella clout.
I know, for no reason at
For
all.
no reason.
I didn't realize, like, if I had the mentality I had now and actually was emotionally mature, like, was a scumbag before, I would probably, like, risk it all if I had one wish.
Dude, okay, you know what it was too? America's Best Dance Crew, that show was super hot.
Yeah, like all the
during the time.
Jabberwockies, all
Exactly.
I forgot what the other dance crews were, like Super Crew.
Super Crew, So Real Crew.
There's another one, too. So Real? Was that the one
Yeah,
from
So
the Bay?
the Super Crew.
Super
They're from
Crew.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then it was just like, oh shoot, you're Filipino, you can dance? You know, and that was because of America's Best Dance Crew. You're freaking tight. Or
It's hella funny, dude.
no, yeah, or like, oh man, I used to bring an ukulele to school.
Yeah, he
back
called
in
it the
high
ook.
school.
You didn't even say the uke. You
The
said
ook. Ukulele.
The ooksk. Sounds
Yep.
like an IKEA furniture item, bro. I think I got that from like Aziz or something. He said like, yeah. But anyways,
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that guy.
yeah, nah. But that's hella funny that you brought up the dance crews because this was last year. So I have a tendency to like when I get a haircut, I do a lot of stuff. I color it, I bleach it. And last year, my brodies Maddie next door and Daniel Gavarette, we went to Austin.
Oh wait, before you continue, I want to do a big shout out to Matthew Cabrera.
Yes, sir. Maddie next door.
You know, yep,
Sheesh.
hell yeah, Matthew Cabrera would be on the show with us as well if he wasn't that day in Vegas. He's at Vegas right now.
Dang.
So I'm gonna probably publish this episode as soon as he's done with this trip. But I want everyone to know that he's staying at the Wynn Hotel.
Yes,
I
sir.
think. Is that-
Hit him up if you're trying to smash.
Yeah, at smash that like button.
Yeah, and subscribe. Not, smash the like button.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm not. It's okay. You can say whatever you want. I'm not monetizing this.
All right.
We having fun.
Hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/Creative Crucible. If you pay $500 a month, you could smash the like button.
Oh yeah, or Maddie next door.
Whatever. I feel like we're pimps now. Like shit. Okay. I don't know where that came from. But.
Yeah, that was really random. Matt was in that hip hop dance crew.
He was.
Yep.
Yeah, but shout out Matt. So Maddie next door, Daniel and I went to Austin last year for ACL, Austin City Limits, a really big music festival in Austin. And I had bleached blonde hair. Maddie next door. Matt's always like, rocking some cool ass vintage stuff and things like that. And then we have Daniel, who's like Salvadorian. So we have two Asian guys.
Wait, what does that have to do with this style?
No, well, we're nothing. He just does. He's not Asian, right?
Oh yeah.
So we're going to Texas, and we're like the only like people of color or minorities on the plane. And then I'm like DJing it. We're like literally sitting in the back of the plane. I'm like hella DJing. People are waiting for the bathroom, looking like, damn, who's this guy? The flight attendants are like, doing stuff like that.
You look like a celebrity.
No, like as we're leaving the plane, they're like, oh, what do y'all do? Are y'all like a dance crew or something? Because I'm wearing a tie-dye hoodie and have bleached hair.
Can you say that impression again?
Oh, what do y'all do? Are y'all like a dance crew or something?
Dang, I'm hungry for some biscuits and,
I know. We
and
about to
grits.
hit that brisket.
Oh,
With them eggs cheesy with them grits.
oh heck yeah, dude! I love grits, man.
Collard greens.
Oh, yep.
Collard.
Collard.
No collard, bro.
Yep. No, yeah. So probably, would you say that your style or even like your hair at the time was kind of just like super liberal, and then it wasn't something that
It was
a
just
thing?
funny because she was just like, "Are y'all in like a dance crew or something?" And I was like, "Oh no!" As we're walking out, and she's like, "Oh no! Like, what do you guys really do?" She didn't change her accent. She's like, "Oh no! What do y'all really do?" And we're like, "Oh no! Like, we're actually not a dance crew." And then I started doing some Jabberwocky routine, bro. I pulled out the mask. I was doing some crazy. Nah, but it was hella funny because they just thought we were like a dance crew, but because we're like Asian and like dressed hella crazy.
You were a walking culture shock.
We were.
Is what you were. That should have been your dance crew name, Culture Shock.
I think they already got one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
It kind of sounds like a 2X porno.
Oh,
Culture Shock.
A little bit. Damn.
Just a little.
So as you know, this whole podcast is about me learning from every guest that I have on here. It's important to learn how each guest is turning their passions or hobbies into a source of income. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit because we've been raised from the fact that going into art, or in your case, fashion, is of course a lot of people think super, super risky. And you may even have negative feedback in that career goal or path from even somebody you look up to, like your parents, for example. And how would you say for any creative journey or career, how does one get over those?
I think a lot of it is being first and foremost secure in yourself. Because, for example, not only did, some friends and family think, is fashion really worth the risk? But also there's a lot of social stigmatism in it. Not saying that like I really cared about what people say. I only care about like what my close friends and family would really say, like my immediate family, close friends, and obviously those uncles, aunts, and grandparents that I really care about. And I've been called like gay before. People think I was gay or I'm gay because I'm just work in fashion. I like fashion a lot. But nowadays that's the norm, right? They used to call that like metrosexual, like people who liked fashion or like taking care of themselves.
Dude, hell yeah. I've been called freaking metrosexual before too, because I liked wearing plaid button-ups and having nice fitted jeans.
And we care about how our haircuts look and things like that.
Yeah, dude. And like nowadays, dude, that's the standard. Like your jeans better freaking tailor fit you well, or
like
else
you're not into fashion and how you look. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. So what's next for you in terms of fashion, other than the YouTube channel, which I think is a really great idea, and where you could channel a lot of your thoughts and knowledge through there? What do you think is for you down the road?
Yeah, so I feel blessed to be raised in such a loving family where I've always been supported, and I was able to follow my passions because my parents really let me, and my friends and family always supported. To this day, still support me, you know? And that's always like, because I live an inherently lonely life, if you want me to tell the truth, you know? Like, I work 9 to 5, DJ on the weekends, usually till 2 or 3 a.m., and only have like Sundays off, really. But I love that, you know? And my goals for the future are still aligned with that. I really take my job very seriously. That's my number one priority. At the same time, I take DJing and business very seriously, whether it be if I'm designing clothing or DJing. I've already booked a lot of gigs for 2019, whether it be private events, weddings, or like, I don't think I've booked any club gigs, but still, that's great, you know, to get paid through your passions and really monetizing your hobbies in your life, not just being a creative outlet for you, but really, you know, taking advantage of what you've practiced and what you want to show to the world. Because you never want to just practice in your bedroom and never play out your creative endeavors for the world. You always want to grow. But to answer that question, I really want to focus on my day job. I guess focus on my DJ career as well. But I really want to see where the DJing will take me these next 2 years. Because so essentially everything that I make from my day job goes straight into my savings account. I don't use any of it for my bills. I use all my DJ income for my bills, and everything from my day job goes straight into the savings account, which is so great. You know, like I feel blessed to be in that position, and I don't have a kid or any real responsibilities. So I feel good. I already, you know, bought a lot of the DJ equipment that's needed. I used to start on like a, you know, $100 Apple Store DJ set. Now I'm able to, you know, afford like live professional subwoofers and speakers and a whole, you know, if I wanted to like buy a laptop off top, I could probably buy a laptop and like anything that I wanted DJ wise.
Yeah. And I think the one important thing that I'm getting from that as well is like, this is, you're trying to pursue your peak happiness. And I think that's a really, really important thing because, you know, I could have pursued the whole business thing. I could be right now, like, because I have an admin degree, right? I could be working in an office right now.
Yeah.
And wearing a suit, making the family and friends proud. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, MJ just came from work. Look at that nice suit."
It's a dope suit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you would help me have it fit well. But it's like at the same time, it's like if I did that, I'd feel empty. And as you get older, time goes by super fast. You know, like let's say like all the way from kindergarten to the end of high school, that time went by really, really slow, and it felt like a really big chunk of your life. But to be honest, the past 4 or 5 years, I think you could agree with both of us, like it felt like it went by really, really fast. And you know, I don't mean to say YOLO, but I am gonna say YOLO in this case, right? And in the most serious way, because when it comes to videography or filmmaking, I want to be able to look back and be like, even if it doesn't work out, you know, I freaking tried, dude. Like,
hell yeah.
And I would never regret it. But since we're young and like you said, you know, we don't have like super serious responsibilities. I don't have like a wife and kids right now. So even like at this point in our age, I'm 26. You're 26?
Just turned 26.
You just turned 26. Yeah. That whole failure we have that mindset that failure is not an option right now.
Yep.
You know, even if because we could say like, oh well, if I fail, then at least I tried. But that's not even in our head right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm just gonna do it just to do it. And like, failure is not an option for us ultimately because one, we don't have like a family that we have to support. Two, we don't have anyone that we're really obliged to like support. You know, I actually said that twice.
No, I think I think what you mean is like the way that we're putting in the work right now is the only way to fail at this is to quit. That's the only way, because
it's not the lack of passion. It's not the lack of, you know, grinding or hustling. It's a matter of how bad do you want it, and are you patient enough and want to learn the skill set, and are you trainable and manageable?
Yeah, and you can't be afraid to fail or to make mistakes in this whole journey. That's exactly how people. That's exactly how a lot of people kind of like quit whatever they're into, simply because like you make a mistake, or maybe you have one nightmare client and you're like, wow, this really isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not talented. Like, dude, it's
not that.
Dude, talent is a small shred of what it really takes. You know? A big part of it is like what you said, you're constantly working on your craft, but you're also networking and being involved in the community of your industry. And the reason why is not, and being involved in your community does not just mean you're meeting people who are DJing or for me, you're not just meeting other filmmakers who are going to put you on. That's absolutely not what it is primarily about. Sure, it happens for a lot of people, and a lot of people do benefit off of that. Like, oh yeah, my boy, he knows this local celebrity, and then he's going to put me on. It really is all about networking with the people who are going to give you feedback for you to grow.
And you have to treat everything like a business and a brand. Like, I started treating my social media outlets seriously this year, because there was many individuals that I looked up to, whether it be DJing or fashion, and was like, is all you do eat in and out? And I was like, no. So that really came to me, and I was like, wow, people don't really take me seriously when I take myself very, very seriously. And it really starts with the intent. And my intent starting now is to really have, intent in my actions, intent in my experiences and time, and really create value-added content for, everyone out there to help raise their self-confidence, because we all feel ups and downs, and, sometimes we feel more sad than other days, or happy other days, but like ultimately it's all about intent and how do you want to, leave a mark for, ages, and for your kids, or even if you don't want to have kids, just for your friends and family, because I want to create value content that's generational, so if I create a video on like how to tie or how to wear a suit or how to go to an interview, even if the robots are the workers in the year 3000, I want the robots to watch me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Exactly. And another thing about the value in leaving your mark. So you remember when you said that before you were even getting paid gigs, you were spinning for family and friends, like even for free. And that's another really important part, especially if you're starting out. So anybody listening or watching,
don't let the pride and ego get to you. Don't never think you're too good for a job.
Exactly.
Any free work, it has to be intentful free work. I think we've been lucky enough and blessed to have supportive friends and family who are always trying to put us on and always help us and are more than happy to support us,
Yeah.
Because some people would do a party expecting to get paid or expecting to know this person or things like that. For us, we kind of just do free work. For example, I was trash when I first started DJing, and I slowly gained the respect of first my family and then my friends and then other people when I go out and spend in public. And it's steps, man. It doesn't just take like, boom, like 6 months, even with the highest learning curve. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you're not a businessman, or if you can't network, if you can't sell yourself, that's what I really learned. Like, people don't think I used to DJ because they just saw all the in and out.
Mm-hmm. And here's another important thing I want to bring up about free work. So I think I noticed this is what you do, and I do it all the time too. So back when I started doing freelance videography, when you're doing free work, you need to give them the client experience that you're going to be giving to the people who are going to pay you in the future. That's super, super important, simply because it's like, for example, if somebody wants me to like film whatever their product and they don't have money to pay me and I offer to do it, then I'm like, well, you have to have the intent that you're going to give them that full client experience. So if they ever book you again in the future, they know what the entire process is about or how it goes, and they understand your level of professionalism. And then you're showing the value, like, dude, like this guy DJ'd at my museum for free. And he was so professional with the emails. He was really clear on how the whole setup and process goes from start to finish. I can see why he charges $2,000 to DJ. totally get it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter if I'm getting, paid $2,000 in an hour to DJ, or if I'm getting paid nothing to DJ a 60th birthday for like a family member where I'm DJing for literally 6 to 7 hours, standing for that long. You want to treat every experience, if it's paid or unpaid, to the fullest of your ability, because if I, half-ass kind of one thing for an unpaid gig, then I don't want that to reflect something else just because there's money involved, because you really have to treat it as your job and as your passion, and it'll show like if you half-ass for a free gig or if you half-ass for something else,
Yeah,
if you half-ass
absolutely.
if you don't put all your effort into a gig that's unpaid, then how do you think it's going to change if you're doing like a paid gig,
Yeah, absolutely.
You could obviously, there's people that could turn it on, things like that, but just to keep your mind consistent and keep the workflow consistent and keep your quality and standards to the utmost high, you really want to just be efficient and more communicative than anything else. Because we've probably had situations where we've had troubling clients and like we've not necessarily burned bridges, but haven't worked with a client on an ongoing basis. It's more transactional based on like the previous precedent, or like we've had trouble communicating and things like that, or service level issues and delivery. But always put your best foot forward, because it's you, your brand, and your business, but also through your passion. You could always record videos in your free time and edit it here and color grade and things like that. I could always DJ or design clothes and look at fashion in my bedroom. But if we actually want to continue to get paid for it and monetize our passions, then we really have to treat it as a business. And that's what we're currently doing, treating ourselves as a brand. I would say not necessarily public figure, but treating ourselves as a brand and business person.
Yeah, because you're building that rapport as well. So either paid or unpaid work.
That's very important.
Yeah, you're practicing.
Yeah.
So not just your craft, not just me holding the camera in the most creative way, not just you spinning. It's all about you're going out there, you're showing face, and you're building your brand, which comes into play with building that rapport, right?
Yep.
So
very
like
important.
Exactly. So when you're out there, you're also practicing your craft because you're doing it, but you're also practicing on being likable.
And it's a reputation you have to uphold, especially when you're a brand in the business. You're never going to have the most successful negotiations with clients or the most successful performances, especially in a live performance or when you're shooting a live event, right? The client's never going to be 100% happy with you. If you have some clients that are like always like, oh yeah, you're the greatest. Or you might have some clients that are like, no, I don't really want to work with you the next time. And that's okay. You'll make mistakes. You'll learn from it. And it'll just hopefully motivate you to work harder and keep your standards higher. And what can you analyze from that past event and that past experience that was negative, and improve from there. But always count the wins too. If you have a small win, like how can we improve that and keep that consistent?
Yeah, and you really have to. It's important when you're doing your best on when you're out on all of these gigs, simply because you're not only building your brand, but you're also helping yourself in the long game, right? So, so yeah, stop thinking about the whole short game. Okay, so I mean, just trying to get either fast money or fast positive feedback. Just work on in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at the same time.
If you're secure in your craft, it'll show. You don't need the validation from others, especially in such a creative industry that we both work in. For fashion and DJing, it's like, for DJing, people will want to play the songs that they know will hit the hardest when they're out at a party or at a club or at a wedding. Not really a wedding, but that's a different story, because usually the client gives you a list that they want to hear.
Yeah.
But that's like cloud chasing, right? Like who's the best DJ, who's the coolest, who has the most followers, who throws the best parties. And for fashion, it's like who has the most expensive outfit, or like is the coolest aesthetically, or like looks the best. And for me and my YouTube channel, I want to go back to the thing that we're talking about with intent. My intent is to create value-added multi-generational content for men out there who really want to find their own personal style. And I really want them to have intent in what they wear for themselves, because it's a reflection of their confidence and their brand as a whole. It doesn't matter if they're not passionate about anything. At least you're passionate about yourself, your confidence, and your mental state.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, another thing to add, when you're out on the job or out on your gigs, shoot some behind the scenes. I don't care.
BTS.
Yeah,
I ain't talking about the Korean pop group.
We could, but no, but yeah, shoot some behind the scenes. I don't care what kind of phone you have, Samsung, iPhone, blah blah blah.
And there'll probably be more than I don't know how to word this, like more than enough producers or like what is it, ADs or whatever.
Yeah,
that want you to like shadow them and just like have some BTS.
No, absolutely. Like even if you're just freelancing for yourself, when you're out on the job, do an Instagram story, do a Snapchat or whatever, because this ties into the whole business aspect and the long-term game for branding. Because what happens is if you're constantly showing that like you're out on a job, you're doing fashion stuff, you're doing DJ.
Yep.
If somebody was like, hey, MJ, I'm getting married next year. Do you know any DJs? Boom, you're gonna be the first person that I think of, because every time I go on your Instagram story, you're freaking DJing. I was like, oh, you burned that into my mind. And that's what branding is, my friend. That's exactly what branding is. That's why I'm always doing behind the scenes when I'm out on the job too, because when people think of video or videography or whatever, or filmmaking, I want them to think of MJ.
And likewise, if someone's asking me like, oh, do you know like a content creator, I'm like, hit up my boy MJ.
Appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
So any final words? We're at the end of our time here. I want to do any final words for people who are starting out
to follow their passions and everything.
Blank slate.
Okay. So first and foremost, like I said, be secure in yourself, find what makes you happy and be in the right headspace. You can't follow your passions if you're doing it for someone else or for external validation. You really got to do it for self-validation. I love DJing because I could entertain people, but I just love DJing as a whole. I don't do it because I'm going to get hella Instagram followers from DJing and things like that, or like spin at the coolest nightclubs. Like never have I had a gig at a nightclub where a girl has come up to me and like, oh my God, I love you as a DJ, So first and foremost, be secure in yourself, have the right mind state. Second is just like, have a plan of action. If you're, passionate about something, you should treat it as a business. So that kind of goes into the third thing, like treat yourself as a business, as a brand. And lastly, like have fun with it and really take action. If you don't take any action, then you wouldn't be, such a talented cinematographer or content creator that you are. And for me, if I wasn't passionate about fashion or like buying, clothing and reviewing it or starting a YouTube channel and like DJing, then I wouldn't be who I am today. And I wouldn't be able to grow from where I am right now. So.
Absolutely. And the clarity is the one thing that you really have to remind yourself of, because let me tell you, when you're first starting out, it was scary. Were you scared?
Not really, to be honest.
Yeah, I was scared.
Well, I mean,
I was definitely scared.
As a DJ, I was pretty nervous, but for fashion, I was really never nervous because I already felt confident in that. But when I first started DJing, I was definitely nervous because it's a consumer-facing thing. So you're doing it even in front of people like your loved ones, family and friends. It's like they could say you're trash.
Yeah.
But it's even worse when you're in front of, I remember I had my first public gig when I was like 18 and I was so scared. So yeah, I still get nervous, even to this day, I still get really nervous.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say, I know I said I was scared, but yeah, no, I definitely get super, super nervous. But nowadays, like, after years of doing of what we do,
you
like,
get numb to it. You treat it as a motivation, and mentally, we're very strong in that we take any kind of anxiety and use it as a motivation to fuel our efforts in our passions.
Oh yeah, no, I long for those days where like I'm nervous to go out there and work.
And then
like,
once you're finished with the gig, I find myself blasting music really loud, like we did this.
Yeah,
like we killed it tonight.
Hell yeah!
Like I've done so many club gigs and weddings and like cotillions where I'm like, damn, like I killed that. Like I can't wait to do it. Let's do this shit again. And also we got paid for it.
Exactly.
That's just like added bonus too. Like I'm never like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever had a gig where I'm like, man, I'll just here for the money. I've had gigs where I'm like it's kind of like crowd was like energy wasn't there, but like you could relate to that too, where it's like you're getting paid for your passion, and that's just like an added bonus too. Like, damn, we're doing it. Like, let's go,
dude. Hell
and then
yeah.
when you're doing it in post, you're like, damn, this is gonna be so sick. And then once you see all the responses, it's just an added bonus because you're already self-validated in your content. But once you have the that, not validation, but, you know, praise from others too. It's just like, man, I did that. Like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Super important to put in the work that you know you're going to be proud of and never half-assing, like what you said earlier.
And also have balance, because what I like about our, you know, relationship as friends and as businessmen is that, like, we treat everything seriously, but at the same time we treat everything as a joke, you know? So you have to understand when to turn on the business person and when to be actually a person. Because you know what? We're like almost really good friends. Almost.
We're almost really good friends.
Yeah, we're not there yet, just friends. No, but like there's a balance to everything. So like you have to treat your business as a business and treat it very seriously. And it's great to get paid and like live well, you know, beyond or below your means. Everyone gets paid, right? No one's telling you how to spend your money. But at the same time, like if you have a family and friends that you're neglecting just for the sake of business, then that's kind of unhealthy, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll ruin your mental state no matter how much money you're making from DJing, you know, cinematography or content creating or designing. It's like you really need that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just gonna close this off here with that last statement you just said. You know, you could be super passionate and hardworking in whatever craft you do, but if you're not super tied in well with your friends and your family, and you know, it really isn't worth it. You know, it's your happiness, your mental health is super important.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you know, like
you have the choice to follow whatever passion and destiny you have. Granted, we're all playing the cards that we're dealt. Some people have dire financial situations where they honestly cannot do whatever they want, and that kind of puts my mental perspective in like, damn, like we have these opportunities, we have relatively loving like family and friends and who are supportive, like let's kill it. Because like last year I was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my entire life, but this year I've got, you know, a raise, a substantial raise. I could hang out with my family whenever I want. I DJ for a living, do fashion for a living. Now I'm ready to make that YouTube channel, and I could hang out with this guy, man. I would only see him once a year. And I was living in New York for 5 years, only see my parents Thanksgiving and Christmas. And that's heartbreaking to me because I, you know, love my family and friends so much. And it really showed. People are like, damn, like that's really affecting you, like work and your mental state, and also like not doing your passions. So that's what I really want to emphasize for the viewers and in this podcast when they're listening to it. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, love your friends and families, anybody who supports you or even contributes to what you're doing. I know some people are super, super blessed to have a big number of supporters, but you know, even if you got one or even two or even none, as long as down here inside you're the one that's even if you're the one that's supporting yourself and motivating yourself, you really got to count yourself as one of your supporters, because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, my camera, your DJ table and speakers, they're not going to show up to your funeral, you know?
And your money is not going to go with you,
Yeah.
you know, unless you bury it with you, I guess.
Oh,
Took
yeah.
my money in it. Great.
Money in great.
Hey,
Shout out Drake. Drizzy.
If you really think about it, what's the chances of us being even born? It's like 1 in like a zillion, right? If you like, the chances are super crazy. So our time on Earth is very, very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And I really just wanted to strive, you know, to the best of my ability and the most intentful things that I could ever do. And I'm glad that we have this podcast and you created this platform for you to, you know, have friends and family and anyone that you know that's passionate about their craft come on and talk about how they monetize it.
Yeah, and it's really important to me because a lot of people out there, they love things, you know. I know we say passion.
You could be passionate about your dog.
Yeah, for sure. But the one thing I want everyone, you, every guest that I have on here, everybody listening, if you love something, I don't care. Dude, if you freaking love ice cream, if you love In-N-Out, let the world know. Mm-hmm. You need to express what you love, no matter what it is. It could be a creative art. It doesn't even matter.
Yep.
Because there's billions of people in this world. Mm-hmm. If you let that out, if you let out what you love online publicly, I guarantee you there's at least one person that you'll be able to connect with, maybe even a community.
And that's great advice, because it doesn't only go for professional things. It goes for personal things. It lets you be more vulnerable and more open and more human. So if you like really like someone, let them know, you know, because we've all made mistakes, you know, and you grow from them and you could never look back at it. And that really lets you be open, communicative, and like authentic as a human, like letting someone know how you feel, or being a professional, like following that passion you do. Doesn't matter if you're not good at it. Doesn't matter if you don't get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your best foot forward and always strive with intentful greatness.
Absolutely. You got to be secure about everything you love.
And I wanted to say intentful greatness, because you could have greatness, but it really is rooted from intent. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like, you said something about just like being secure about what you want to do, right? Like DJing, for example. Mm-hmm. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm involved with like the filmmaking community and like other videographers in my local area. And I know this is what I want to do, and I know this is what I like to do. Yep. If somebody DMs me tonight, like right now, and be like, hey, videography sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm so like involved in my local community. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. You think I live for you? I got a lot of other people who thinks otherwise.
Some people are very insecure in their craft too. Like, if you say like your opinion on a video, or if they give you their opinion on your video, you'll just be like, okay, I'll take it as constructive criticism, you know? But especially in DJing, it's like some people will get really sensitive to your thoughts on something or things like that. And like old school heads are hating on younger DJs, and younger DJs are hating on older DJs. But like you said, if like someone hates on like my mix I made, or like the content I'm posting, it's like I feel secure enough in myself to be like, I'm just passionate about this. If you don't like it, it's all good. But thank you for the feedback.
Mm-hmm. Because when you do something, you should do it for you. You should do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like Instagram is paying me to post In-N-Out Burger, you know, and someone just like, trust me, dude, I've had many, many, many people unfollow me just because they're like, all this guy does is post In-N-Out. But now it's cool. Like I said earlier, man, like people are booking us through our social media platforms just by what the content we post, which is crazy to me. Like, this could never happen when like 5 to 6 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And, you know, it's come to a point where getting paid for it is normalized. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's not, hey, AJ, are you free on Saturday to DJ my event? No, it's not. That question is not even. Yeah, that's not even the question anymore. It's like, how much do you charge?
Yep, and it's for us, it's easy too, because we're treating it as a business. So it's never like, oh, I don't know if I should charge this much. I don't know. You know, it's like, no, like, be firm.
That was an Aziz Ansari impression. I like that.
No, but if you're confident in your craft, right, just charge what you want. Like, back in the day when I first started, I was a little green, more novice in my DJing career. I was like, oh, maybe I should charge this much. And you're just undercutting other people who are very, very good at their craft, especially like wedding DJs. Like, when I charge a wedding, there's like a minimum threshold that I'm charging. Like, if you get a DJ for under $1,000, that's a great deal. And that's undercutting all the other DJs. But at the same time, like you said, it's so saturated that the quality shows once you pay like higher money. And also, granted, if you pay higher money, it's not always the best. Like, you could pay $5,000 for a DJ. He just has clout and like has like fog machines or whatever.
Oh,
but
I want fog machines.
Yeah, me too. I have one. I just don't use it because it's kind of whack. Yeah. I've never been to a gig where they're like, can you bring the fog machine instead of the lights?
Welcome to my Thriller mix. mix.
No, but to go back to that, man, it's like really put your best foot forward and be stern on your rate. When I first started, I was just like, damn, like I can't be charging that much. But now it's like, once you really negotiate with authority and be stern with your rate, because if you're not, it's going to show in your negotiation tactics, and people are going to be like, he doesn't even feel confident in himself. Why should I pay him that amount? You know?
Yeah.
And you're not commanding that. You're not attracting it.
Yeah, and if you're not stern about it, you're gonna look like a total dick.
Yeah,
because
you're like, oh, maybe you could pay me like $500 for 1 hour.
But you know, here's the thing. Say like, The reason why I say like you'd look like a dick if you're not stern is because say you're like, oh yeah, well, it's gonna cost you like $1,500.
You're passive aggressive.
Yeah, but if they say something, but if they say like, oh, our budget is like $1,000, and if you're just like, okay, then it's gonna be like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah, you treat
That's all
it
it
with treat it as a person. Don't treat it as a robot. Like, okay, $1,000.
like an eBay bid.
Like you are buying this shit.
Buy it. You gotta act like the buy it now button on eBay.
You gotta be a person in your negotiations and communication with clients, because it's like, okay, you could negotiate on what is their budget, but try to be caring and accommodating to what their needs are financially. Because for us, like, I've had corporate gigs where like I've literally DJ'd for an hour and I've saw a comma in the paycheck and I'm like, okay, cool. But that's all through negotiation. Mm-hmm. That's a great win. And I love telling that story because like I used to DJ in my bedroom and not get paid. I used to DJ at family parties where my uncles and everyone else would say I suck so much, and that's a great milestone for me. But really don't be hesitant, because you'll come off as passive aggressive and your rate won't be commanded. It'll just be like, okay, like, I don't know. And then you'll just be like, oh, why didn't you pay me? And things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's ever going to feel sorry for you when you're doing your passion.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, you're more of the expert in that field. It's not like another cinematographer or content creator is booking you. It's not like another DJ is booking me, which is crazy, because when I DJ at clubs, it's like they're bookers and club managers and owners that I look up to, and I really got to step up my game, right? Because you're trying to not impress them, but strive to always improve and get to their level one day.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for sharing all that information, man.
I don't bring out the numbers, man.
No, absolutely.
I had a it just, this year's been so great, man. Like, honestly, if I wanted to like just DJ full time, I probably could. If I had like one corporate gig a month or two, I'd just be like set. But my focus is first and foremost on my day job. I take it very seriously because I love fashion is my passion. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing well there, man. I just want to. My problem is I have so many passions. It's hard for me to focus on just fashion, just DJing, just in and out.
Yeah, exactly. Dang, man. I mean, I hope one day,
because I know we've had so many talks about like money and things like that, but that was one of my milestones that I shared, man. It's just like you got to be very firm in it, and the client won't care. Like, worst case scenario, they're gonna say no, right? No one's ever like, oh my god, I will never work with you again. You are too expensive.
Yeah, and
that's just showing you that client doesn't value your services and doesn't trust in your ability.
Exactly. You want to book clients that are booking you not because of your prices, but of the value that you bring.
At the same time, if you like charge like so much and you suck, then you're not backing up your craft, right? Yeah. Like, if you charge like, I don't know, $1,000 for an hour, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, when you suck, you're just like, what's the point, bro? Yeah. Like, you're gonna get paid, but your reputation is gonna be so bad. It's almost like Uber drivers, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hope everybody listening can apply a lot of that knowledge that you just dropped on this show. I really just want to close this entire episode out with a bang, with some hype ass words. So I want you to finish this sentence, okay? So we're gonna close this out with a Mad Lib. Because I've been getting paid. Okay. Yellow diamonds on me look like lemonade. Trying to get my baby mama.
That new Ben Teague. Ben. Oh man, Roddy Rich, DJ Mustard.
I wish. Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, if anybody wants some fashion advice,
hit up VallejoCinema.com. No, AJRedick.com, AJRedick.com. That's also my Instagram handle at AJRedick.
All right. Peace.
Ben Teague. My voice sounded like that Snapchat filter.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Hey, it's MJ Vallejo, host of the Creative Crucible podcast. Did you like that episode? If you did, I would appreciate it so much if you gave my podcast a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it would help me out so much. And I would love your feedback as well. So go ahead and put in the comments on what you liked and what you didn't like, and maybe who you think I should have as the next guest. I'll see you next time.